and just how that league is perceived for developing quarterbacks?
No, not really. I didn't really know anything about Big Ten quarterback reputations or anything like that. I just, wanted an opportunity in a place where I could play football. So I wasn't really paying attention to the other reputations that Big Ten quarterbacks have.
I guess, were you aware of any quarterbacks that had come from the Big Ten? I know that you've talked before about Ohio State specifically wasn't a school that you had really paid attention to.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I was aware of. I watched the Big Ten a little bit, like Braxton, D. Wayne. I watched, I think, one of the dudes from Penn State, but I watched a few quarterbacks from Big Ten.
How much as a quarterback, as a competitor, are you pushed by, I guess, the level of play by the people at that same position, whether that's nationally or I guess in this case, if the level of play in the Big Ten is rising at quarterback, any kind of a motivation that is for you?
No, not really. I don't think my motivation comes from other people's success. It just comes from inside of me and internally. So I don't really look at other people's success to really motivate me.
All right, we'll go next to Austin Ward from Letterman Row. Austin.
Justin, when you look at your numbers through 3 games, what do you think?
I think it's what I was supposed to do. I mean, of course, they're a little bit crazy. I didn't expect to, them to be what they are now. But I mean, I think, it's definitely not surprising by the way I've worked in the off season. So I just think from all the work I've put in and all the time that I've spent in the film room, I just think that it's paying off right now. So,
which one do you think is craziest?
Craziest, I would have to go with the more touchdowns and completions for sure.
Thanks, man.
That's definitely the craziest one. Yeah, no problem.
All right, we'll go next to Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Justin, I was curious about your relationship with Chris Olave and how much faith you have in him.
How much what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How much faith you have in him? How confident are you that if you put the ball up for him, that he will come down with it?
Yeah, I mean, Chris has shown me from day one since I've been at Ohio State what he can do on the field. So him just being a great athlete, a great receiver, and probably the best receiver I've seen track a ball in the air, especially downfield. I mean, I have complete trust in him, and I think we both, trust each other. And every time I talk to him, I might tell him, when I'm scrambling, take off downfield, and if I throw it up, it's either you or nobody that comes down with the ball. So he has that. So I have full trust in Chris.
Can you kind of describe your relationship with him and what he's just like as a guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you first meet Chris, he's kind of a introvert. He doesn't really talk much, but I think the more time you spend around him, the more he opens up. And I mean, Chris is a humble guy. He's a hard worker. I mean, he loves the game of football. So he's just a great overall person, and he's one of our leaders on the team. And he's just a hard worker and a great person overall.
All right, thanks, Justin.
All right, we'll go next to Bill Landis from The Athletic. Bill.
Hey, Justin, some of the throws you make when you're on the run, or maybe your feet are under you, or you're throwing from a funky arm angle, how does your experience playing shortstop help you with some of those throws?
Yeah, I think all of those throws, can be kind of tied with baseball. I think, me playing baseball for, I don't know, maybe I think I played it for 12, 13 years, something like that, maybe even more than that. I think, just me playing the infield, I think you just get used to making off-balance throws and stuff like that. So I think playing baseball has definitely helped me, moving around the pocket and staying balanced. And, it helps me and it allows me to make those throws, on the run or maybe off balance. So I think baseball has helped me a lot.
And how about, I'm wondering if you notice any similarities or think there are any similarities between sort of the way you have to use your hips when you're hitting a baseball and the way you have to use your hips when you're in the pocket, maybe throwing a ball deep down the field.
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, that was a big conversation Coach Day and I had over the offseason. You know, it's kind of like a swing. You know, it's different parts of it. So, I mean, I think to make it more consistent, you kind of just have to break it down and practice that. But yeah, I think a baseball swing and throwing a football is very similar. I think there's a lot of the same things going on between your front foot and your hips coming through. I think those have a lot to do with throwing.
Thank you.
All righty, next up, Brendan Gulick from Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. Brendan.
Hey, Justin, a couple things. First of all, let's maybe build off Bill's question a little bit there on baseball. Coach Day's talked a bunch about your mechanics at times and had referenced how the athleticism involved in other sports like baseball, like golf, like basketball translates to kind of what you're doing in the pocket. I'm curious, do you play anything else recreationally? Do you golf? Do you shoot hoops? Do you play baseball or whatnot?
Sometimes I shoot hoops, but I've definitely been golfing a lot more. Well, this past quarantine I did probably more than I ever did in my life. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I had a bunch of free time. So, you know, every chance I got to go to the golf course. I mean, I'm not really a good golf player. I feel like I'm better than I'm supposed to be, but you know, so every chance I got to go out on the golf course and, you know, swing some clubs, I went out there. So
awesome. Coach had specifically talked about when you're working on your mechanics, your posture, your balance, and keeping your head still when you're throwing were three things that he really was working on with you. Of those three, have you noticed one maybe more than the others that's made the biggest difference for you?
You said keeping the head still, and what else? I'm sorry.
Keeping the head still, your posture, and your balance as you were throwing.
I would say balance and posture. You know, just kind of staying tall in the pocket so you can make throws over the D lineman, trying to swat the ball down and definitely balance, you know, moving in the pocket and kind of staying on balance. So I feel like when the quarterback's balance, it's way easier for him to be more accurate and stuff like that. So I feel like my balance has definitely.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go next to Tim May from Letterman Row. Tim.
Thank you, Mike. Justin, I'm just wondering, is when you go into a game, how many plays in this offense do you have in your head that you have to know, et cetera, from game to game? And is the catalog you're dealing with impressive in your mind?
Yeah, there's a good amount of plays we have to remember, but you know, I think those plays become, you know, easy to remember or not that hard to remember. It's just because the amount of reps we do it and the amount of time we put in to studying those plays. So I pick up on things pretty fast. So I think when I get a feeling of a play, I might only have to run it like once or twice to get a good feel of the play. But yeah, I just think we've had so many reps at, you know, these certain type of plays, and we usually, you know, I think this quarantine, since we weren't, you know, able to practice, I think we got in like the most amount of plays we've ever gotten in. So we've definitely ran a lot of plays, and you know, I think, you know, just the amount of reps we've gotten at them, and the amount of times we ran them, I think that makes it easier for us to remember them.
Yeah, I guess my point is, do you feel like no matter what a defense throws at you guys, y'all have an answer? Maybe it's the next play, maybe it's the next series, but y'all have an answer for it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, that Coach Day's been doing this for a long time. So, of course, he knows a lot about the game of football. So I think, you know, he's an answer for about everything.
Thanks, man.
All right, we'll go next to Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Dan.
Hey, Justin, I know that you said before the season that winning the Heisman was one of your goals, and now people are starting to talk about you as a Heisman frontrunner. Do you pay attention to that at all?
Of course, I see it, you know, on social media, but at the end of the day, it's like if I don't continue what I'm doing, you know, even this week or next week, all those talks and all that, that's a moot point. So I'm not really focused on that. I'm just focus on, just staying consistent and, keeping the same routine and just, going out there and doing my best each and every play. So, yeah.
How do you manage kind of having those individual goals in the back of your mind while, still keeping the team goals front and center?
I think you just have to prioritize, what goals are more important to you. But I think, our team goals are, first on my list because, I think people look at that, at a different level. I think there's things with team goals and things you can accomplish as a team, factors that's hard to, do it by numbers. For example, like leadership and stuff like that. I think, you can't put that on a piece of paper and rate that. So I think, team goals and accomplishing those and winning games, of course, I think people look at that, differently. So, yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, we'll go next to Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch. Joey.
Justin, Garrett's had a really good stretch to start this season with 300-plus receiving yards. What's the best thing about throwing to him?
I think his, body language is very easy for me to read. As I've said, we've gotten a lot of time to work with each other. So I think, just me throwing to him X amount of times have definitely get our chemistry on the same page. And, he's a great athlete, great receiver, has great hands, can track the ball well, can really jump out the gym. So, I mean, he's a all-around athlete and a great player. So, I mean, it's easy throwing him.
How much do you think his start this season is due to him playing or moving into the slot, or is it just due to the fact that he's an older, more experienced guy that you've been able to rep with?
I feel like he's just kind of gotten a hold of the offense more, to be honest, from last season. Of course, he was a freshman last year, so it was kind of tough for him at first. But I think he's really matured from last season to this season, and everything really in the weight room, on the practice field, in the film room. I think he's done a great job maturing, and I think that's a big part in his success. I don't think it's necessarily him being in the slot or the outside, because I think he would be making the same amount of plays. But I think the biggest thing in him has been maturity and just wanting to get better and learn and grow.
We'll go next to Tony Gerdeman, Buckeye Scoop. Tony.
Justin, you mentioned your lack of incompletions, and we know what Ryan Day had to say last year about some of your throwaways being his favorite throws. How much are you thinking about your completion percentage during the games, and does it affect you? Like, maybe I don't want to throw this one away because I don't want to drop from 86% to 85%?
No, not really. I don't think about it in the game. Really, my goal is to complete, every ball I throw. That's my goal, and I don't look at that as a big picture. I kind of look at it, one play at a time. So on this particular play, I might be looking at, let's get a positive play right here. No sacks, nothing like that. So I just try to get the ball out of my hands as fast as possible. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that. But there's always room to improve. So I'm just going to continue to get better. Thanks.
All right, we'll go next to Elise Menaker from the Big Ten Network. Elise.
Hey, Justin, I know you were talking about that, like other people's success doesn't drive yours, but when you hear there are other quarterbacks in this league, like the quarterback you're playing this week, who even look to your game and like things that you do, what does that say to you, and how do you respond to something like that?
Like him playing, like us playing him this week?
Yeah, like
or
when he's
looking at my
he
game?
looks at your game and he likes your game, and this is even someone who has a brother in the NFL playing quarterback. What does it say to you that he's like, hey, I watch Justin, I like things that he does, and when you hear that, what's kind of your response?
Of course, it's an honor always, just hearing that. But to be honest with you, I've seen some highlights of him, I think they played, I don't know, it might have been his first game, but he went crazy. But to be honest, I don't really watch other college quarterbacks. I try to watch NFL quarterbacks just to kind of, I feel like those guys are more mature and, the way they play, and I feel like they make less mistakes. So I try to, watch guys that, I look up to, like Russell Wilson or, Lamar Jackson or, Patrick Mahomes, even Cam. So I look at more film on those guys rather than college guys.
All right, we'll go to Patrick Murphy, 247 Sports. Patrick.
Justin, yesterday we talked to Jonathan Cooper about how he felt the defensive line played despite only having 1 sack. And he talked about getting pressure on quarterbacks and still impacting the game, maybe not statistically, but still having an impact. From a quarterback's perspective, when a defensive line is pressuring you, but maybe they're not getting to you, how does that change where you're throwing from, the impact that they can have without actually getting sacks?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely has a big impact on the quarterback. I think pressure can throw off the timing with the quarterback and the receivers. So I think that's a big part. And it also allows the DBs to, he might have slipped or something like that. Or, say if it's a curl route and the quarterback has to move in the pocket, that throws off the timing. So I think the D-line definitely has a lot to do with the success of the passing game in the secondary. So I think, those just work as, just kind of one big thing.
All right, got time for 2 more. We'll go to Spencer Holbrook first, and then Stephen Means. Spencer.
Justin, how hard is it to not throw to Garrett and Chris every play just because they seem so open? Do you try and spread the ball around a little more throughout the game, or do you just take what the defense is giving you?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who I throw to. I mean, of course, those guys are very talented, but I feel like, we have other talented players at receiver, at tight end, and at running back. So I think I just, just go through the reads, and, if my guy's open, then he's open, and if he drops it, that's on them. I just do my job to the best of my ability, and just try to help my team win in every possible way.
And then if I can sneak in real quick, when you throw that ball over the middle to Julian on Saturday, and it hits him in the hands and he drops it, you're now a captain, and he's just a freshman. You showed some confidence to try and hit him over the middle. What do you say to him on a ball like that can kind of uplift him after I'm sure he probably wasn't feeling it?
I mean, of course, he knows he messed up, but I think the biggest part in that is just, forgetting that play and moving on to the next play. So I'm still going to continue to throw the ball his way because I trust Julian. I see him in practice every single day making plays. So I know that one ball won't affect him. And, I think he was pretty open, and he might have scored a touchdown on that. But I mean, the ball's going to continue going his way. And he's a great receiver. So he's a great person too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And last question to Stephen Means, Cleveland.com. Stephen.
Hey, Justin, this is a totally different set of questions, but just given the time we're in and what you see going around the world right now, what's your average day like for just for Justin Fields, not necessarily for the team, just for you?
I feel like it's pretty not too bad, to be honest with you. So today, I'll just give you an example of kind of a rundown of my day. But today I had lifting at 8, and then I had a massage after. I got some treatment, and then ate breakfast. I came back here, and I just been watching a little bit of film, and I'm on here with you guys. But after I get done with this, I'll probably watch a little bit more film, then take a nap before practice. We have meetings at 2:30, and then we don't get done until about maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock. So it's not too bad. I think, being in a routine, I think everybody gets used to it. So it goes by pretty quickly.
So how often do you leave your house and the location isn't the Woody Athletic Center or to walk Uno?
I don't really go anywhere. Like, the only place I go is the Woody in my house, and I might go to the grocery store when I need to. But other than that, I really just go here back to the Woody. So it's a good thing. So because I haven't been spending a lot of gas money lately, so it's good for sure.
And how much of that is, I mean, that's just how you are. You're kind of to yourself. This is just what your routine.
Yeah.
And then also, given what we're in, and you see other guys who are just as important to their teams, catching COVID, you want to make sure you do everything you can to make sure you're not that same story.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm also a guy that really doesn't like that much attention. I really like to be low key and just be a normal guy at the end of the day. So, Uno. But yeah, sorry.
Speaking of
All right, Justin, thank you very much for your time today. Appreciate it, and have a good afternoon.
Thanks.